Welcome, and thank you for joining us for the virtual Day in the Life episode. My name is Lonnie Emmert. I'm the Apprenticeship Director at the Arkansas Center for Data Sciences. And ACDS is a nonprofit organization that focuses on bringing employers together with talent across the state in the field of information technology. We have been making great strides in using the apprenticeship model to be able to take candidates and find their way into the profession of IT. Employers from around the state have found this to be a very instrumental business strategy for staffing. And our Day in the Life series has been something that we've tried to highlight some of the individuals out in the community at large who are making great strides and doing great things in their companies. Today, cybersecurity is one of our apprenticeship occupations, cybersecurity specialist, but today we're focusing on a cyber threat analyst, and we are very fortunate to be able to have Vincent Dunn joining us from Sebastian Tech Solutions, and we are very excited to hear about Vince's story and his experiences and really what he's doing on a day-to-day basis for Sebastian. And so I'd like to start right away by saying thank you, Vince, for being here with us today. What we'd like you to do is kind of start by introducing yourself and just share a little bit about your background and a little bit about your company and your team. And then we'll go through a series of kind of a dialogue, question and answer so that we can have some fun with this. And all the people out there that'll be learning from your experience, we'll look forward to hearing some questions from them as well. So Vincent, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you, Lonnie. I started working with Sebastian Tech Solutions for about 3 years now, and currently, as you said, a cyber threat analyst. But before I started with SDS, I was working at Sam's Club while still going to school at Arkansas State University, working on getting that bachelor degree in computer information technology, which I graduated in 2018. And after that, I began the job hunting in the IT field. And in Arkansas, it's a little bit difficult to find those kind of jobs because you don't really expect to see that here. But I was fortunate enough to find a STS, and at the time they were offering the help desk on a government contract. I applied, was accepted, and for a year and a half or two, I then moved up from help desk to IT support and internal, and then later on as a cyber threat analyst, which I was really excited for. As for our company, again, we are Sebastian Tech Solutions, and it is owned by my CEO, Sebastian, who has done a really great job at building more jobs here, especially this new position, the cyber threat analyst, which I'm really fortunate to have, something you don't see here in Arkansas. This company has been around since 2014, small but steadily growing. And as for our team members are very talented and smart. I love working with them. And anytime that one of us is struggling, we reach out to one another and tackle the issue head on.
You know, your answer there has set the stage for a series of additional questions. One of the things I'm going to preface by saying that in your role as an apprentice there in the SOC, the Cyber Security Operations Center, is that you've mentioned your degree and going to Arkansas State, and we have some of your counterparts and others who have joined you that don't even have a degree at all, right? And so it kind of proves the point that the apprenticeship model in being able to take anyone who's been equipped or has some prior interest or experience can come in and go through the training and become really effective as an IT professional. And you're demonstrating that because you've moved up very, very quickly, right? And
yes.
that's part of your story. You've got great teammates, you've gotten good mentoring, right? And we'll ask you more about that later. But for right now, what are some of the attributes or skills that you think you possess that have really helped you and are helping you now in your cyber threat analyst role?
I would say one of the skills that's really helping, especially from working on the help desk, communication, being able to talk to the client, explain and remediate their issues. Another one would be a problem solving, able to determine something that you're normally not used to, but still able to work it out. And having a calm mind, and what I mean by calm mind, being able to analyze the situation without rushing it. And the SOC, that's really important because you don't want to just send in a report to the client saying that this alert here is dangerous when it's not. It could be a false positive, something within their internal network that they just need to adjust.
Yeah.
And last, leadership, being able to take the role of leadership and move forward on taking care of operations in our SOC.
You know, that's really helpful as you describe that, Vincent. And I think many of our folks who are looking to get into the profession of IT, you know, wonder what the unique you mentioned skills that there are a lot of folks out there that regardless of what their background, if they had a degree in something else, or maybe they don't at all, could possess some of those things you just talked about. If they like problem solving, if they can remain calm in their analysis, right? They have some leadership capability and all the things you described. But then what about how quickly you've been able to tackle the technical pieces of your learning and your related technical skills? Has that come easy to you, or have you had to study and had to learn and then apply and learn and apply?
I will say that it hasn't been easy. It is a challenge, and I'm always forward to taking a challenge. I don't really expect anything to be easy, but kind of like you mentioned, I do apply and learn, apply and learn. I research, study, and try to go into a testing environment and see what I can do to increase my skills.
Yeah, very good, very good. Now, in the midst of your career now, as short as it's been, but still long enough to have this, you got any stories to tell us? You know, things that, you know, marked a real turning point in your career, or without, you know, divulging any, you know, private information or whatever, just a story about how you've continued to kind of develop yourself.
I do have a good story that we all kind of worked on together in our SOC, starting from a month ago. As soon as we started working with our new clients, we discovered that there was a certain user that was logging in more frequently than usual, and the alert for them wasn't the same either. Usually for the user, we saw something like a travel location not familiar, but this one was a multi-attempt login. And so we started investigating that and sent a summary to our client to let them know, and they were aware of this issue. And luckily, while we were investigating, one of our tools was able to capture and stop that user from trying to get further, which one of the tools that worked was a multi-factor authentication. Mm-hmm. Really helpful in this IT security field. Makes it harder for someone to hack into your account and do something that they shouldn't be doing on the network. But as soon as we discovered that it was captured, we made a detailed report and sent it to our clients, notified them what happened and how it was remediated, mostly by the two-factor authentication.
Yeah, that probably builds confidence on both sides of this, right? That you've been able to use that technique, and at the same time, they have the confidence that you're doing what they need you to do, right? So
exactly.
Yeah,
and it lets them know that we're doing our job and that we do care about protecting their infrastructure, their environment.
So, you know, one of the things on an individual basis with what you're doing in your role, Can you see the strategy of your company in the larger way? The impact that what Sebastian's doing. What does that mean in the big picture? I mean, that may be a tough question for you to answer because you're not necessarily in leadership, but you know where I'm going with that. I mean, I think it's important for everybody out there to know that their job in IT is connected to something a little bit bigger and a little bit more important than just what they're doing day to day. So how do you see that playing out at Sebastian?
Well, especially with our client that we're working with, yes, they are government, but they're not small, they're big. And unlike their previous cybersecurity team, they with us, we are constantly investigating, reporting, and checking their vulnerabilities. Mm-hmm. Now, our clients are getting numb to us constantly letting them know, but they're also happy at the same time because they're not used to hearing from their cybersecurity team, letting them know that, hey, this is a threat that you need to mitigate. And because of that, not only does it add a value, but it makes a major impact for other agencies and commercial people, showing them that we can do our job and we are capable of managing and monitoring their network.
That just leads me to another question, is that early on you had indicated that when you first came out of school, you weren't sure how many IT jobs there were in the state of Arkansas, right? It seemed like maybe there wouldn't be as many opportunities. And I can say that since I've come to Arkansas about 18 months ago, the number of open positions in IT is a lot larger than people realize. I mean, there's about 7,000 open jobs right now, right? So if you were to think about where you were at that time, or even maybe friends that you have that aren't getting a degree in IT or computer science, what might you tell them about the involvement with ACDS or the involvement with how you got connected to a great job? Can you give them any advice?
Best advice I can say, especially with what our company is now doing, we are now, anybody that works with us, we are willing to sponsor them for their college degree, meaning they don't have to pay for it at all. It'll be free as long as they're working with us, so they can continue increasing their knowledge and getting well prepared for the next field or next role, I should say.
Yeah, we don't want them to leave IT, right?
No.
Yeah. Well, that's really good advice in the fact that you're probably in a mode of continuous learning. I mean, I've been an IT guy my entire career, 38 years, and I feel like every day, you mentioned the challenge, the fact that things are dynamic and changing. So what's next for you? I mean, as you kind of continue in the SOC, what lies ahead? Is it leadership? Is that the next thing in terms of how you manage teams, or where's the next thing in your career?
Leadership is one of them. And of course, always expanding my knowledge because, like you said, there's always something new in the IT field. And it's great to learn that new aspect because that adds more to your belt and shows other employers that you're capable and you have a lot more value than what you are.
Absolutely. What are some of the other roles that are going on? You mentioned the help desk, and so have you always been in Jonesboro, or
Yes.
has anything changed over the time you've been there?
I have been here during my time working here in Jonesboro, and at the time we haven't had much when I first started help desk, but then we started expanding throughout my 3 years, especially the first year. We ended up adding another help desk from a different agency and also a system administrator off in the East Coast area. And a lot of our guys saw that opportunity to move over there and get that experience. And they've come back to us with more knowledge and more capability and, of course, more value.
Yeah. yeah, those experiences will probably continue over time, right? And so it adds a dimension to that. So we're not really, I'm not seeing any questions coming in on the chat or whatever, but I think a lot of our young people, looking at this as a career field, you don't have to divulge this, but have you seen an ever increasing wage, your salary continuing to get better as you've progressed and will continue to happen? I mean, is that, do you think that's an advantage by working in the IT profession?
Yes, it is, especially if you're willing to expand your knowledge, getting more certifications and other areas of IT.
Yeah. Well, tell us, you said certification. That's a key word that people hear all the time. And what is the most recent certification that you got? I'm thinking I know what it is since it's part of the apprenticeship program, but tell people about your most recent cert.
My most recent cert was a CompTIA Security Plus.
Okay. Very good. And in your organization, do you go through like the certified ethical hacker? Is that down the road in the future for you?
Oh, most definitely. We are currently working on getting the CEH and also working on trying to go with a pen tester as well.
Yeah.
But that'll probably be after we work on CEH.
Yeah. Well, all things in their right time, right?
Right.
But those are just additional examples that for all of our folks that listen in today and will be watching this, on YouTube or wherever, that they come to see your personal story and this day in the life kind of testimony, if you will. It really is important for them to see that you're an example of being ready to accept new challenges, that you're taking on more and more training all the time, getting more certifications. We wish you the best of luck. How about anything else that you think that maybe you, in your preparation for today, that you want to make sure that people out there hear from you or hear from Sebastian, that really is kind of that final thing you want to leave people with?
There is one that I really can't stress enough about, and it kind of worries me when people think about this. When they look at IT, they think that they have to be a programmer. And IT, not every job requires to be a programmer. My job does not require me to be a programmer. Now, it's a great asset to have, yes, but not every job will want you to do coding unless you're going to be a web developer or creating apps or creating alerts with coding and etc.
Well, you've opened a door for me to be able to add on the fact that at ACDS, we really cover apprenticeships that run across all of the occupations that fall within the information technology profession. So that means that somebody who wants to go into web or application development can do that. Those heading towards cyber have that opportunity to do that. People in data analytics, people working, as you mentioned, in infrastructure, on the help desk and DevOps and those kinds of things. So the career field is full of opportunity in kind of a lot of different pathways. Would you agree?
I agree. There are many paths in IT that a lot of people don't know, which is why you have to explore that. It's not just programming, like it's a branch, a tree, many positions that even I don't know about.
Well, that's probably in your future. Since you've been so successful to date, you can imagine what lies ahead. And, you represent one of those companies that's growing. You mentioned Meg and her vision, and, what started out as a few people is now, how many do you have there? Do you know the total?
Roughly about 65.
Yeah. Yeah. So what once was a vision of one is now 65, and who knows what that'll be by the end of this year and next. And yet we're working at ACDS, with those small startups that have one or two folks and they need technology, skills all the way to Walmart. And so if you think about everywhere in between, there's a lot of opportunity in the field of IT. And we just are glad that you are a great example. Again, we want to thank you and look forward to working with you guys as time progresses. So Vince, thank you for even being with us today. We appreciate you, and we'll look forward to seeing this as it gets out on YouTube.
All right.
Great. Thank you, Vince.
Thank you, Lonnie.